Alright guys, welcome to the time tracker for PlusArchitect and PlusDesignBuild. What is the time tracker? Why did we create it? Well, essentially the time tracker will track hours that you spend on certain stages of a project. For instance, you might be doing a home design and you would allow 8 hours for council submission, client meetings you might allow 5 hours for, and drawing plans, designing, all of these things are tasks that you would normally do. So when the client comes to you and says, hey, I want you to quote my job, you usually go in your head and you write down all these things, put them together and quote and send them to the client. Once you win the project, then it's a matter of, do you keep that piece of paper next to you? Probably not, you shouldn't. So what the time tracker allows you to do is actually record the time that you're spending on each task. Now you might be doing also multiple types of projects. So you might be doing passive house, you might be doing simple residential new homes, and you might be doing extensions, and all of them will have more time associated with different starts of the project. For instance, the passive house, you might be doing site inspections, so you might allow 10 hours in site inspections. You can simply push record on the time tracker, it will record your hours, and once you go over the allocated hours, it'll actually turn the cell red so you can see that you're over that project, and you can either charge it as a variation to the client, or you can adjust your template so next time you do a passive home, you're going to allow 10 hours on site or whatever it might be. It's great for charging for variations, but more importantly, it's there to keep you on track. Once you stay on track, you can be more efficient, and efficiency enables you to pay your bills and be more profitable. All right, guys, hope it helps. I look forward. Grant's done this tutorial. He's done a great job. If you like the tutorial, push like. If you dislike the tutorial, push dislike, but make sure you tell us why. Cheers.
G'day guys, and welcome to the tutorial. In this video, I'll be showing you how to set up a project and manage tasks in the time tracker tool, which is the stopwatch icon right here. So before I get started, here's an example of a project with tasks already filled out. One thing you'll notice is this red field here. So what we've done is the field will change to red when the hours used are above the allocated hours. And also what will happen is if the hours here, let's say we change this to 12, this will change to red. And you notice up here in the hours used, this changes to red as well. So you can easily see where you've gone over and then where you're over and by how much up here. So to add a project, what you need to do is click the new project icon up here. And then in here we write in the address. So let's say we go 5 Test Street, client name, let's say it's going to be Bob, and the project description, let's say it's going to be a renovation or whatever it might be. And then here in the job status, we'll call it as a quote. Once you've done that, click Save Job and we'll add it to the list here. The next thing to do is add some tasks. But before we add any tasks, and it's mainly for the first time using it, we need to add in the different options for the drop down. So if we just go back up here to that example, you'll see here in the category we've got a drop down list. Over here we've got a status list. Over here we've got a person list. So these three drop down fields can have the information managed via the import export data option up here. So once you go here and click the export, you then export a CSV file. So here we've got for the categories. You can see here all the categories that are in there. So when you're editing that, edit from row 2 all the way down. You can delete these if you want to and write in a completely different list. So you do for this file. Over here in the person, same thing, enter in all the people or the persons. Could be their name, could be the trade that they are, whatever you want to do, and then the rate for that person is on the side here. And what will happen is when you're inside of here, let's close that, whatever you select here, as you can see here, person 1, if I change this to person 2, the price will update. So you can adjust that, and then again with the status, it'll look like this, and same again, just fill this out with what statuses you want to be for each task. So once you've gone and edited all those files, so back in here, you import each of the files individually through here. It'll then update all the options in the dialog, and now we can start adding in the different tasks. So for here, click the add new task. It'll then add a line item. You can click it multiple times to add more line items, or if you want to remove a line item, you click the remove icon here, click yes, and that exact same process as well for removing a project at the top here. So for here, let's say for category, we're going to call it admin, might just be meeting. It's going to be assigned to person 1. As you can see, it comes in here. We're going to allow an hour. Right. Now it's set up, ready to go. So this can be set as templates as well. I'll show in a sec. So once I've done this, yes, you can write in hours used manually. I could write in it's going to be half an hour or an hour, or if you've already used the time, you can write that in. But right now, if you've just added this, and you're going to start doing that task. Click the start timer. Let it run for a little bit. I'm just going to stop it right now. But what it'll always do, it'll always round to that next 15 minutes. So since 0.25 is quarter of an hour, 50 minutes quarter of an hour, it'll round to that. So if I'm not happy with it being there, let's say it was actually half an hour, type in 0.5, click out or tab out, and it'll then update accordingly, as you can see here. There's also the ability to have templates imported for all the different tasks. So right now, I'll just delete this item, click yes, and then up in the manage templates up here, click on this, and then add new template. We're just going to call it, we'll call it default. And then for this very first one, you will need to click export. I've already done this. And when you do export it and then save it, it'll then export something like this. So here is all the items for the template. So like we set before, the admin, the client meeting, design, all this stuff was set in this file here in the categories. And if the option is exactly the same, so for example, here it says design. If I go back to the other one, go to here, this one says design. If this was say designing or something, it won't work. But what this will do, if the options or the values match up exactly, it'll then predetermine the fields, and I'll show you in a second. So entering the category here, the description of the task here, which person it's assigned to, and this is the default one, so again, match it up with the correct name that's in the other file, and then allow how many hours per task. So once you've done that, save it. When you go back to SketchUp, you click import, locate, it's this one here, you open, click OK, and it's now ready to go. If I close this, now that we've got a template set up, if I click the add new task option, you'll get an option like this. If I click no, as I'll show you, it'll just add in a row like this. Yes. But if I click it again and click yes, I can then select from which template. Obviously we only had one template imported there. So now click submit, click OK, and now if I expand this, this is the one that I've set up. As you can see here, didn't have the right one set up, but you can just quickly change it. Might have draft documentation. So as you can see there, it can quite easily be fixed up. But yeah, if you set it up correctly from the first time, it'll, once you import it, it'll select it by adding the new task. It'll then just be all set up, as you can see right here, and everything's ready to go for hours to be used. All started and entered in. When you start getting multiple projects added in here, so at the moment we've only got 2, but you could have 10, 15, 20, etc. You can actually filter these. So if you click the filter option up here and tick or untick which ones you want to show. So obviously at the moment we've just got it set as quote, but if I was to say this is complete archive and I untick that, it'll remove that option. So to save the list and to save all the dialog space, you can filter what's shown so that you're not looking through all stuff that's already been done. Yes, you can also delete them if you want to eventually, but if you want to keep everything there just for record of it, just tick and untick the options here. The next thing you can do is then get this information appear in the takeoff. So to get that to happen, what you need to do is go up into the PlusSpec toolbar, go to the job tool, and then in here we've made a change. So if the time tracker tool is available in your version, this option will be a drop down which will display all the different jobs. But if you don't have the time tracker, this will just be a normal input field like these ones here. And then you select which one you want, test street, click submit, and then when you do a takeoff, this information will appear. As you can see here, time tracker, and here's all the different options. As you can see, that's all I have for the tutorial, guys. Hope you enjoy. Cheers.
All right, guys, I hope you got a lot out of that. There's a lot to take in, but it's very easy to use once you set it up. Now, guys, if you like the video, push like. If you dislike the video, push dislike, but make sure you tell us why so we can improve. If you're looking for more information, there's a link below that will take you over to the forum, or you can ask questions in the comments below. All right, guys, take it easy.